Before I moved to Sanur, a friend of mine said, don't move to Sanur, the coffee's no good in Sanur. Since that time, in my own mind, I've proven that claim so wrong. I'm in the northern part of Sanur once again, north of the harbour actually. The harbour is just behind me over there. And today I wanted to take a walk around this northern part of Sanur. And I'm going to actually head south from here, but I just wanted to nick up and have a coffee at my new favourite Warung in town. And I also wanted to go over some of my favourite coffees in Sanur at the moment. I've actually got a long list, and I keep sort of adding these coffees to the list of my favourite coffees. So it's getting quite long now, but I'll give you my top 5, and then I'll give you a bunch of other ones, which are also very good. Okay, the makeshift rubbish dump is now, oh, it's big. They're now burning it at full steam. That's crazy, isn't it? That's about one of the most disgraceful sights I've ever seen here in Indonesia when it comes to rubbish. I mean, it's illegal to burn rubbish like that, but I don't know, they seem to have official uniforms on and everything. I don't know how that's happening. They do seem to be splitting out some stuff, but yeah, there's a lot of plastic and stuff going in there as well. That is just toxic. That's getting worse, isn't it? That's getting worse. Yeah, just terrible. Oh well, that's what's just going on, isn't it? If the rubbish dump gets full and the trucks don't pick up the rubbish, there are a few choices left. I don't like that as a choice. I don't think that's a good choice, but someone's made that choice. And burning rubbish, I mean, you're in a tourist zone. I mean, the harbour is literally there, and that's the rubbish situation there. I mean, it's pretty bad. Big holes and big fire pits. Big fire pits, look at that. That is outrageous. When I was here last time, they seemed to be doing a sorting job of a lot of that stuff, but yeah, that's not great. Not great. I wonder where that rubbish is actually coming from, because in my area, if the trucks can't dump the rubbish, they don't pick it up, but eventually they do come and pick it up, and I'm assuming they dump it at the rubbish dump. So I'm just wondering where that actually comes from. So that is now a rubbish dump there with fire pits. It's interesting, isn't it? Pretty disgraceful though. Hello. Anyway, getting back to the story about coffee, because I've been tasting so many coffees over the past couple of years, and I keep saying that's a good one, that's a good one, that's a good one, and I have lots of favourites now, I thought it would be a nice idea to sort of try and combine all that knowledge into some sort of, I don't know, list of some sort. So in this video, I will go through all of that, and I'll sort of explain why I like certain ones and why, for example, this one here is one of my favourite coffees, even though it's not necessarily technically the best, but the whole Warung feel makes it one of the more enjoyable coffees in town. So that's sort of my angle on it, I guess. It's not just about the technical flavour of the coffee, it's enjoyment too. Here it is, see? Nice little Warung, this place. Hello. This is the place. You get this little outlook here. The breeze is going today, so it's really cool as well. And that little outlook out there. Absolutely love it. Today I'm ordering the barley coffee with a little additional bit of milk. Other times I've been here, I've just been getting those instant sachets. And for me, they are enough coming to this place because of the vibe of it, to be honest. I mean, that outlook and everything, sitting on the floor over there or on here, that outlook for me is enough to make this one of my favourite places for a coffee in all of Sanur. So today, the owner of the Warung, the guy that made this, namanya Bapak Wayangnya.
Yeah.
Salam kenal ya Pak. Nama saya Adam ya. He built this all by hand. And his wife is having the day off today. He's the one, jaga toko is what we would say, just looking after the shop. So it's really been nice to speak to Bapak Wayang. Bapak bisa bicara bahasa Inggris juga sedikit?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. There you go. That's good enough. Good enough. Thanks, Pak.
Thank you too.
Yeah, makasih, Pak. Oh, that guy's really nice as well. Both he and his wife are just such beautiful people. I just sat and had a chat with him there for a little while about life and about different stuff and the ways of the world. And I was just actually, one of the things I was talking about is the walls that he's got that have made of bamboo, that sort of, that woven type wall. I asked, how do you get that? And And he said you can just go and buy it, and there's different levels of quality. You can get the quality that he got, which is the poorer quality with the thin strips from the inside of the bamboo, and it's quite flimsy. But there is also a style that you can buy, which is the outer skin of the bamboo. And if you use that, it's quite durable and quite hardy, and that lasts a lot longer, but it's a lot more expensive as well. So most people are going to choose the cheaper variety. Actually, Pat Wayan was saying, you know, the wind's getting stronger and stronger by the day, and he said soon it's going to be quite cool here, because as that wind becomes stronger and stronger and the dry season sets in, you do get the cooler weather coming in. So that was what his sort of marker of the dry season is when that wind gets really strong here, which is seemingly doing now. This area down here near the harbour, near Pantai Matahari Turbid, has come along really fast. They've really done a good job of that. It just looks beautiful now. It's been really tidied up a lot. There was a lot of parking and stuff around here in the past, and now that's all been shifted up that way somewhere, and it just looks and feels really nice. And then obviously this is the new statue that sort of replaced the old sign, which used to say Pantai Matahari Turbid. This is some sort of dedication to the fishermen of the area, because this is traditionally a fishing village. There's something else being built here. It's got a little ramp up the side there, and that looks interesting. Another new venue being put in. And from that construction, we get into all of these coffee shops, restaurants, warungs, that sort of stuff, which, to be honest, are doing really well these days with locals and foreigners alike. There are some good coffees along here. It's hard to sort of pick one that I really love, because I actually don't drink that much coffee in this little section to be able to make, so I can't really make that sort of judgment. But there are so many coffee shops here, so many, and I'm sure there are some good ones here. The next sort of place that I want to talk about as far as good coffee goes, though, is Series Coffee Roasters, which is on the west side of the bypass in Sanur. And I love that place, not only because they've got fantastic coffee, but they've got great snacks as well. The owners lived in Australia for 15 or 16 years, came back to Bali to set up a business, didn't really know how it was going to go, and it's just been a stunning success. They roast their own beans. So Ken, one of the co-owners of the place, used to roast coffee back in Australia, and sort of brought that skill back to Indonesia and roast his own beans here in Indonesia as well, Indonesian beans. And the coffee's just absolutely sensational. And his wife Vina, well, she bakes, she cooks, and they're little snacky type things, like a little bit of French toast or a little bread roll or a scone, and they sound a little bit underwhelming, but they're not. The flavours are some of the best flavours, in my opinion, at any coffee shop anywhere, almost in the world, I'd say. Like, if I think about all the coffee shops I've been in the whole of the world, including places like Japan, including places all throughout Europe, in other parts of Indonesia, of course other parts of Bali, I reckon it's just one of the best out there. Honestly, everything about it I absolutely love. I'm just going to have a coffee here at Kopi Djaya Abadi. I like this place because it has a good outlook over the ocean from the second floor. So I'll have a little coffee here. Whether it enters my top 5 or not, not sure. But with a view like that, it's got to be pretty close, hasn't it? Look at it. Isn't that great? So I just got myself an iced latte for 35,000, all taxes included. Pretty good price, I reckon. And the view and the wind here is quite nice. So sitting out here in the shade is nice. Inside they've got an air conditioned area, but I don't know, when you've got a view like that, I sort of prefer to sit outside. It just looks so inviting, doesn't it? I probably should have mentioned the price of the coffee at the previous place. 5,000 for a sachet coffee, 8,000 for a barley coffee with milk. I mean, dirt cheap and just a pleasant experience. I think I would add this into my top 5, but it's going to be a really difficult top 5, isn't it? Because I've now already got 3 places in it, and I know in my mind there are like 5 or 6 places that I really love that can't be in the top 5, but they have to be. I don't know, it's got to be a top 10 then, hasn't it, really? Top 10, yeah, make it a top 10. Actually, what we'll call it my extended top 5. There's my coffee. Time for a nice coffee. I'm sweating buckets, that's why I've got a nice one. But having said that, I'm only sweating buckets because I'm walking in the beating sun. In the shade with that breeze blowing, it's actually quite pleasant right now here in Sanur. I mean, the weather just has cooled down a couple of degrees probably, that's my guess, from previous months, and that a couple of degrees and that breeze really makes all the difference to how you feel in this weather. Now, I mean, if you've got a thermometer out, maybe it'd be the same, but it doesn't feel like it. You know, this is one of the things people keep telling me to tell them what the temperature is, but I can't because I don't know, for starters, because I don't have a thermometer with me. But the other thing is it doesn't really make any sense to sort of take the temperature, because it's the wind and the humidity that makes a bigger difference here in Bali, because it's always warm, always sort of between, like, I don't know, 30 and 33 degrees maximum temperature during the day. Love that place. It's a very sleepy day today here in Sanur, and just up there, just drinking my coffee, I was just chatting to an old guy, and I just started sort of drifting away, not like falling asleep, but sort of, my mind was just sort of drifting away to sort of a dreamy land. It's a interesting feeling when you are here in Bali and you're just got into that sort of relaxed spirit. You know, you don't necessarily fall asleep, but you just mind wanders, and I just was wondering then about the view out there. The guy was saying, because he was from Singaraja, saying the view here is just so wonderful. And he was pointing out Nusa Penida in the distance, and yeah, beautiful. Love it here. A viewer in the comments recently, a guy by the name of Neil Hooper, hello Neil, wanted to know what the tax is on all your restaurant bills. And I should do a video on it. Well, it doesn't really deserve a whole video because it's not that complicated, but I will explain it now. I've explained it a few times before, but there's a thing called Pepe Satu. It's changed over the years, that name. It's actually officially not called that anymore, but that's what most people still refer to it as. This is Pantai Bangsal, by the way, and that road goes up there to a few restaurants, one of them being Mukbang, which is one of the most famous sort of local restaurants here in all of Sanur. There's a beach. That looks good, doesn't it, today? So Pepe Satu is basically a tax on restaurants that is levied by regional governments. It's not the provincial government. It's levied by the Kabupaten level government. So here, where I am now in Sanur, that's levied by the City of Denpasar government. If you're in Kuta, it's levied by the Badung government. And they are allowed to levy a tax of up to 10% on all restaurant bills. It doesn't have to be 10%, but it almost always is, because that's the maximum you can levy, and that's what they choose to do. Interestingly, there's no GST or VAT, or what they call PPN, added to that. So it's only one tax. So the money goes directly to the Kabupaten, not to the central government. Whereas if you buy an item, like if you go to a shop and buy an item like a hairdryer, there'll be a tax on that, which is supposed to be 11%, which is like VAT or GST. It's called PPN, and that goes to the central government. And the regional government doesn't get any money from it. So what does that mean? That means if there is a service charge also applied to your bills, let's say it says 10% tax, 5% service, that's not a 15% tax on top of your bill. It's supposed to be added in the following order. 5% first gets added on, so if it was 100,000, add 5%, gives you 105,000, plus 10%, and that gives you 115,500. So when you see that, that's like 15.5% total on top of your bill, because it's multiplied twice, yeah? And it's always the way that you have to do one before the other. Government tax always comes last, so the government gets the biggest slice. Now, I actually don't mind paying those taxes, especially because you would pay taxes in most countries like that anyway. The only question is, if you're living in a region where there aren't many tourist facilities, so there's not a lot of money going to restaurants, your government may not be getting a lot of money. So for example, a good one would be if you live in the Jembrana province, the far west of Bali, there aren't that many tourist businesses out there, so they won't be getting a lot of money from that tax. So they'll be relatively much, much poorer. But here, in somewhere like City of Denpasar, it would be a huge, huge amount of money. Badung, which covers most of the tourist areas in Bali, including places like Canggu, Kuta, Uluwatu, they would be earning huge amounts of money from that Pepe Satu. And Accordingly, that money you would then expect to be pumped back into infrastructure, which then develops the area. That's the expectation. Whether that happens or not, well, that's another matter altogether. So that's how that works. It's not a terrible system. It just has some sort of quirks to it. I think is the main thing. Hello. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I reckon if you went in that water right now, like it could be quite cool when you come out. Hang on, you can't even see my shirt, and my hat seems to have blended in with the sand. The fee from the service charge is supposed to go to staff. You know, if you're working at a 5-star hotel that has a 10% service charge on it, so 10% service, 10% Dhatu, you should be getting a lot more than a base salary. And it actually is the case that a lot of people working at those 5-star hotels do get paid really, really well by Indonesian standards because of that service charge. Now, whether that happens universally or not, I mean, I hear people all the time say, oh, the money doesn't go to the staff. Well, I'm not really in any place to comment on it, I wouldn't have a clue. But that's what people say. So whether it goes to the staff or not, I don't know. But I'm assuming that sometimes maybe it doesn't. But that'd be pretty rough, wouldn't it? Like if you were running a business and you were charging like a 5% service charge and your staff weren't getting the money, wouldn't they say something? Like if I was working at a place like that, I'd just say something. Like I'd go and get a job elsewhere. I wouldn't want to be sort of playing that sort of game. Oh, here we go, look at this. Isn't that looking good today? That is just looking sensational. I have to get back onto that beach because it just, in this sunlight, I don't know what's going on today. It just looks especially good. It always looks good, but it just looks especially good today. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It doesn't feel too hot out here either. A lot of coral on this beach. You can see all the big piles of white there. That's all coral. That's not rubbish. All the coral which gets washed up from the reef and so forth. There's no rubbish on this beach at the moment. It is looking, I think it's looking one of the best I've ever seen it, to be honest. It just looks good visually, just stunning. I don't know if it's because of my sunnies. I'll put my sunnies over the camera. This is what it looks like for me. That looks pretty cool, eh? That's the sort of view that I've got. It makes it look just a little bit more saturated and a bit more deep and richer in colour. I'm gonna see if I can say hello to these people over there doing a selfie. Lagi apa?
Halo.
Halo, lagi bikin konten.
Hai.
Lagi bikin konten juga. Foto-foto aja. Ya, oke, silakan. Bye-bye. Yeah, beautiful out here today, isn't it? Apa namanya? YouTube? Sanur Diaries.
Yes.
Sanur Diaries.
Oh, Sanur Diary.
Yeah. Okay, see ya.
I'm gonna subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, yeah? Bye. Nice kids. Just on the issue, there's a couple of things that just sprang into my mind. Just on the issue of filming people, one of the great things about Indonesia is that Indonesia is a very camera-loving society. People are sort of poking cameras in everyone's faces and filming and doing stuff all the time on camera. So when I go and speak to someone and spring the camera on them, more often than not, but not all the time, but more often than not, people are happy to be on camera and they embrace it. Whereas if you're in some other countries, like if I was in Australia walking down the street filming people, like you'd get into a fight about it. Don't film me, you're not allowed to film me, I didn't give you permission. I've actually had that a couple of times here in Bali already. Well, more than a couple of times from foreigners. Yeah, so it's just different sort of standards, different culture. So I feel completely comfortable filming here, and people are generally pretty receptive and they'll play up to the camera and are happy to sort of participate. You know, bikin content, that's what people do here. I love it. The other thing I sort of was going to mention is about the taxation system here in Indonesia. It's actually quite advanced. When I first came here, a lot of people I knew weren't even part of the tax system. They would pay tax because they had jobs and it gets taken out of your wages, but they weren't really doing tax returns and that sort of thing. But as time went on, there was some improvements to the system, and they actually had Australian tax office people working in Indonesia and also Indonesian tax office people going to Australia to learn the Australian tax system, to get all the good ideas the Australian tax system's got, to try and lock down taxation here in Indonesia and make sure the tax take is not as leaky as it was. So you'll find that the taxation system here in Indonesia has got so many similarities to the one in Australia. So as far as tax returns go and deductions and electronic filing and all the tax file numbers, all that sort of stuff. They even go a few steps further with taxation as well here to try and capture as many people as they can into the system. It's really quite interesting. I actually can't get enough of that at the moment out there. That's doing my head in how good that looks. Really good. Getting back to the coffee shops, another coffee shop that I really love is called Bear Bottle in the southern end of town. They do really good coffee. The reason I like it is because the coffee's good and the staff there are fairly consistent in, well, who they are, but also in making good coffees. You know, you go to a place that feels like home, Bear Bottle's one of them. They make good coffee, good people, they make the coffee consistently every time. It's just a good coffee. I can't be talking about coffee here in Sanur if I don't talk about Dhatu, which is a sandwich shop. Basically, the sandwiches are amazing, but they do a great coffee as well. I reckon it's worth going there just for a coffee. Go there, Dhatu, brilliant. So that's already 5. I'm going to get into my extended 5 now. Another place that I really like is Mushroom Espresso. I might actually pop up there because I'm not that far from it. Mushroom Espresso does really good coffee. They're originally based out of Mushroom Bay over in Nusa Lembongan. They do just really good sandwiches as well. They've got some little thick shake type things, good coffee. And not far from there, across the road, is Cafe Bloom. They do a good coffee. The reason I like that, it's in a florist. They also do this cheese sandwich, like a cheese toasty, which I just like. And I know it doesn't really sound like it would go with a coffee, but for me it does. I just really enjoy having a coffee at that place every now and then. Probably don't go to those places as often as I should, but I do like them, yeah. That's a good one actually, especially at that end of town, I enjoy it. The other place up there that I enjoy is Bull's Coffee. I've got to say that I have had some bad coffees there, but when they do good coffees, which is most of the time, I've got to be fair to them, they are very good coffees, very good coffees. You know, that's part of the problem, isn't it? If you don't have consistency, I could go there and say, I hate this coffee, and then the next day you go there and it's beautiful. So, yeah. But that's probably just an isolated occurrence there, to be honest, at Bulls, but it is a good one. I have to talk about Olli Baked Goods. The coffee there has been hit and miss, I will be honest about it. The first time I had a coffee there, unbelievable, just one of my favourites, maybe top 3. And the next time I went, something happened and it wasn't very good. I actually spoke to Winnie about it and she just took note of it. Next time I went, it was back to being brilliant again. So little things like that, when the owner sort of takes it on board, really helps. But it can just be like having an off day as well. The other thing I like about Olli Baked Goods is that the food is very good there. Like, you know, the last thing I had there was like a sausage and egg and cheese sandwich, like a sausage and egg McMuffin. Brilliant. Cakes are brilliant there. The pastries are good. I've had a banh mi there. Everything I love about that place. Centre of town, brilliant. You have to go to Olli. Other place I love is Cultured. Now the good thing about Cultured is that guy, like, he's really obsessed about fermented stuff. And he does it all in-house himself. So he's always experimenting with new products, and he's got his kombucha going, he does a nice coffee, he's got his fermented focaccia there, which is just sensational. And he does little bits and pieces of other stuff from time to time as well, as he experiments with different recipes. I really like the passion behind that place. Cultured, Jalan Pungutan. You've got to go there, sort of more to the northern end of town. I just love the passion. That's basically it. This is Jalan Segara Ayu at Pantai Segara. I'm going to walk up here because I've been trying to keep a tab on a bakery which is opening up here. I don't know when. We'll find out. Like, if there's been no progress, we think it's going to be a long time, but if there's been a lot of progress, well, maybe it'll be soon. Manweti, good place in the morning to go and have a nasi bali. Really good food. I was just looking at all these motorbikes and then bang, a word flashed into my head and I thought, well, now's as good a time as any to talk about the word for motorbike. But before we get to that, we have to talk about the word for bicycle, because the word for motorbike comes from the word bicycle. So the word for bicycle is sepeda, sepeda, yeah? And that's how you say it, more or less. That's bicycle. But if you're talking about a motorbike, it's sepeda motor, yeah? So it's motorized bicycle, something like that. Yeah, sepeda motor. But what Indonesians do is shorten sepeda motor to motor. So if you hear the word motor, it's just motor, it means bike. Now the funny thing is, there are regional variations. So if you go to some places in Indonesia, they'll actually call a bike a kereta, whereas kereta is often used in normal, proper Indonesians to sort of be used with other words like kereta api is train. But on its own, like if you use the word kereta on its own, if you say naik kereta, in most of Indonesia, it means get on the train. Whereas like if you were in somewhere like, I don't know, Medan, it might mean get on a motorbike. It's a bit weird like that. Kereta api is interesting as well because it's basically means like fire carriage, literally, obviously from the days of steam trains. But we still do call it formally kereta api. The other difficult thing about motorbike is when you want to say, I'm going to ride a motorbike, there is not really a word for to ride a motorbike. It's actually, there's a word, it's sort of not very often used, it's sort of formal and it is correct, it's called mengendarai. Yeah, I can mengendarai motor, but it sounds a bit awkward and a bit odd. It's correct, but it doesn't really, you wouldn't normally say it. So often what we'll say the word naik, and that's basically to get on board or get onto. So I'm going to naik motor to get on a motorbike. Now, whether you're physically steering it or not is by the by. In a car, the word is menyetir, yeah, coming from the word steer, which is a steering wheel. So menyetir mobil. So you can't menyetir motor. There we go, there's that to 7 a.m. Like a bakery or whatever it is. It's coming along quite nicely. I don't think that's miles off, to be honest. I reckon that could be open next month. Looks like it's going to be a good one as well. That could be pretty popular with the locals, I reckon. Yeah, so the different ways of operating vehicles, like it's really complicated, but you have to sort of learn them because like I drive a car, but I don't drive a motorbike. It's the same in Indonesian. What do? I ride a motorbike, but I don't ride a car. Yeah, so Indonesians have to learn that when they're learning English, and we sort of have to do the same when we're learning Indonesian as well. But I mean, there's other words like mengoperasikan, it's to operate, yeah, because the word operate is operasi, yeah, so you can, if you want to make a sort of an active verb out of it, you say mengoperasikan, but that would be more to do with machinery or rather than vehicles necessarily, but you could say that, but again, it just sounds a bit stiff and a bit, it's not wrong, but it just, I don't know. The thing with Indonesian, and it's probably the same with all languages, to be honest, there are things that you say that are technically correct, but don't feel right. Yeah, we probably do it all the time in English, but in Indonesian especially, because the language is so fluid, that happens with almost everything that you learn. Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, fine.
They're at the Masakan Padang restaurant. That's a good one, that Masakan Padang style food. I go on about this Padang style food all the time, and the reason why I bang on about it is because it's one of the more universal foods in Indonesia. You'll see Padang food in so many smaller towns in Indonesia because the Padang people have merantau all around Indonesia and set up shop. I was actually going to go over there to Mushroom Espresso, but I've passed it now because I was too busy talking. But yeah, Padang food. Oh, there's that bloom. Yeah, that's the other place I was talking about. Beautiful. They have gone all around Indonesia and spread that food around. And one of the reasons is that Indonesians love Padang style food. And it is good food. Like there's just so many classic dishes that are Padang. So for example, rendang is Padang. That's the most famous one. But a lot of other ones are Padang style food as well. I've been banging on about Masakan Padang when I really should be talking about coffee a little bit more. Another place that I really like is Little House Sanur, which I only just recently tried. They do really good coffee down there. Unga makes you a great little coffee in a nice little setting. A little bit surprising to me, to be honest. I really like that place. Another place that I like is Nyoman Kedai Kopi. Now, The thing about Nyoman is an old school sort of vibe in there, but I think that really suits a lot of people going into a place that's got no AC and sort of having a chat with the owner of the place. Another good place on the way down to Pantai Karang. Really like that place. So I don't know how many coffees I got up to there. That'd have to be pretty close to 10 for my extended top 5. I really love all those places. There are other places that I really love as well that haven't made a list, probably because I've just forgotten about them momentarily, but I'm sure there's a bunch of coffee shops that you love as well, and I'd really love for you to get into the comments and tell me which ones that you like that I haven't mentioned, and it'll give other people an idea of where they might want to go as well, and give a little boost to some of those little businesses around the place, which I really love to try and boost their businesses. Hello. Did you really? Why are you watching?
I don't know.
Kenapa bisa lihat?
I just saw your video. Always.
Really? Oh, aneh sekali. Okay.
I like what you're doing.
Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you, yeah? Okay, Mari, yeah? Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. I actually didn't think too many locals were seeing what I'm doing because, I mean, I'm speaking English most of the time. So, as I was saying, get those comments in there about which ones you love and try and promote your favourite little coffee shop here in Sanur. There are other places that do coffee but are more, more restaurants and stuff, which are also very good as well. It's just a very good scene here. It's funny because before I moved to Sanur, a friend of mine said, don't move to Sanur, the coffee's no good in Sanur. And since that time, in my own mind, I've proven that claim so wrong. It is just so wrong. The coffee here really is good, So anyone that says coffee is no good is just wrong. It's cultured. Love that place. This is Warung as well. Brilliant local food. I know that a lot of you love that place, and probably doesn't get as busy as it could do. Food there is brilliant. It's Warung food, but very fresh. And the lovely lady that runs the place and the prices and all that is just first class. So thanks for coming along for the ride today, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sanur and the rest of Indonesia. I'll catch you next time, and sampai jumpa.